Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast to the protection against heavy rain and flooding, by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippa.
Welcome back to Flood Protection Secrets, part 5 of our 7-part mini-series Cut Costs with Smart Flood Protection Planning. Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey so far. In part 1, we laid the groundwork. We explored the different types of properties that require flood protection, from cozy private homes to large-scale public infrastructure and outdoor spaces. We looked at the variety of entrances and weak points that need defending: doors, windows, drainage pipes, and beyond. Part 2 took us into the real world of decision makers: homeowners devastated by loss, businesses scrambling after a flood, and public servants navigating bureaucracy. We saw how flood protection is often an afterthought, purchased in panic without proper planning, and how costly that mistake can be. And then came part 3, the turning point. We pulled back the curtain on cheap flood barriers and exposed the real risks: poor materials, weak seals, and total system failures when the water hits hard. We emphasized why flood protection must never be treated like an off-the-shelf product, but as a serious engineering solution. And just last time, in part 4, I gave you 3 powerful pieces of advice from my years in the field. Here comes advice number 1. Only use tested flood barriers with certifications that prove their strengths. Advice number 2, visit the supplier to see who and what you are trusting your life and property with. And part 3, never buy without a plan, because protection without a strategy is just a false sense of security. And today in part 5, we'll go one step further. I'll show you what can happen during the process of a flood mitigation project. If you missed any of these episodes, I strongly recommend listening first. They'll give you the insight you need before making any flood protection investment. If you have followed the series, this episode and the next will connect all the dots. And if you are new here, welcome. But I highly recommend going back to episodes 1 through 4 for the full picture. Okay? Now let's dive into the most practical part of our journey: cut costs with smart flood protection planning, part 5. What can go wrong in a flood protection project? Some possible problems you may encounter when coming up with a flood mitigation project will be explained now. You've chosen to take flood protection seriously. Great. But even with the best intentions, many projects still fail. Why? Because flood protection isn't just about buying barriers. It's a process, and if not done right, it can become a disaster before the rain even falls. Let's look at what can go wrong and how to avoid it. So I structured it in several parts. So let's start with part A, or section A. Project complexity is often underestimated. Installing flood protection isn't a simple buy and install job. It's a multi-step engineering project that includes site inspection, risk analysis, custom design, civil works and installation, training, maintenance, and support. And what happens if you ignore the complexity? The timeline explodes, months or years longer than expected, the budget balloons beyond control, and worse, you remain vulnerable to flooding during the delay. That was section A. Project complexity is often underestimated. Section B is choosing the wrong solution. Flood protection isn't one size fits all. Your operational needs, building layout, and local risks all matter. If you pick the wrong system, you may obstruct operations or daily use. It may be impossible to install correctly. The cost of accessories, storage, training, and maintenance can explode. Worst of all, it might fail when it's needed most. Yeah, that is that was section B, choosing the wrong solution. And section C is titled with overlooking critical steps. Too often, property owners skip or forget key steps because no one guides them, and then they pay the price later. If steps are missed, delays multiply, costs skyrocket, and you are exposed to flooding for longer than expected. Yeah, that was section C, overlooking critical steps. Section D is called what that really means for you. Let's imagine two possible futures. Scenario 1, the disaster. You exceed your timeline, you blow your budget, you stay vulnerable to the next flood, and your reputation suffers with your bosses or stakeholders. And everyone asks, why wasn't this done properly, and who is responsible for this mess? I let you think about what that means for you, dear listener. That was scenario 1, the disaster. And scenario 2 is the success. You deliver the project on time. You stay within budget. The system works perfectly during the next heavy rain. You protect people, assets, and your professional reputation. Your leadership is praised and remembered. Sounds like a dream? It is not. You can get there. You just need the right plan and process. And that was my section D, what that really means for you. And at the end, you know already, there's most of the time there's a golden nugget. And today, my golden nugget is as follows. Cutting corners on planning doesn't cut costs, it increases them. I say it again. Cutting corners on planning doesn't cut costs, it increases them. Proper flood protection isn't a quick purchase. It is an engineered solution that starts with clarity and ends in safety. Yeah, that's it for today in part 5. What is next in part 6? I will show you what a great flood protection plan actually looks like, and you learn the key components of a successful flood mitigation strategy from the first phone call to the final test run. You will walk away knowing how to avoid finger pointing, failures, and expensive regrets, and how to deliver results your team, your boss, and your community will thank you for. And if this episode helped you think differently about flood protection, hit subscribe now. Share this podcast with somebody responsible for building a site or team or in need of flood protection. And by the way, you will find contact links to me and my team. Just search Andreas Klippe, that is me, or scroll below. Stay safe and flood free, and don't miss part 6 coming soon. I wish and hope for you that you make the right decisions when it comes to your personal flood protection. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to this podcast channel if you haven't already. Now it only remains for me to wish you a good day. Do something with it. Maybe until the next podcast episode. I would be very happy. See you then. As always, stay safe and flood free. Your Andreas Klippe and the whole Flood Experts team.
That's it again with the new episode of Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood Andreas Klippe, German engineer, book author, and head of the Flood Experts. What can Dr. Flood Andreas Klippe protect for you? Anytime? Worldwide? Contact us or just click through to www.thefloodexperts.de/bonus. Detailed engineering, German quality, safe, flood protection secrets, the secrets you'll want to unfold.
Don't forget, you're only one flood barrier away.
Subscribe to the season, and you'll never be late for an episode.